at Emancipation Park, a place that speaks to growth, understanding, and community, we're reminded that every journey is different and every voice matters. On this World Autism Awareness Day, we shine a light on inclusion, early support, and the importance of understanding. Welcome to Jamaica Magazine. I'm Jabertha Atkinson.
Good day, I'm Twyla Whelan and this is your JS News for Thursday, April 2, 2026. The number of unemployed people in Jamaica continues to fall, with the Statistical Institute of Jamaica Statin now reporting only 51,500 persons in this position in January 2026. This means the country's unemployment rate is now 3.6%, down from 3.7% in January 2025, when there were reported 54,500 unemployed persons. The update came during Statin's quarterly press briefing on Tuesday. But while the national rate went down, Director General of Statin, Leisha De Latiboudiere, reveals that in the parishes most affected by Hurricane Melissa, unemployment rose sharply, up 39% to 11,400 people.
The total number of persons outside the labor force was 714,800, and this represented an increase of 4.8%. However, for the 5 most affected parishes, the number of persons outside the labor force was 192,100, an increase of 20.5%.
Ms. De Latiboudiere explains that consistent with the October 2025 quarter, Statin deployed an abridged version of the labor force survey across the western parishes of St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, St. James, Hanover and Trelawney. Nationally, the total number of people employed stood at 1,389,400, which was 30,100 fewer when compared to January 2025. In the 5 most affected parishes, that number was 301,700, a decline of 39,500 people. The size of the labor force in January 2026 was 1,441,000 persons, representing a decline of 32,900 compared with the corresponding period last year. This resulted in an overall decline in the labor force participation rate of 1.6 percentage points, moving from 68.4% in January 2025 to 66.8% in January 2026.
In the 5 most affected parishes, however, the labor force participation rate declined by 6.4 percentage points to 62.0% in January 2026.
Also coming out of Statin's quarterly report, Jamaica's Consumer Price Index CPI for February 2026 declined by 0.9 percentage points when compared to the same month in 2025. The CPI tracks changes in the general price level of consumer goods and services purchased by private households and is one of the economic indicators used to measure inflation.
The main drivers of the monthly inflation rate in February 2026 were food and non-alcoholic beverages at a negative 2.5% as prices for agricultural produce continued to decline, as well as housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels, which tempered the decline, increasing by 0.2% due to high electricity rates, and transport, which increased by 0.2% as a result of higher petrol prices.
Point-to-point inflation was 3.9%, measuring the average change in prices between February 2025 and February 2026.
The main factors influencing the point-to-point inflation rate were food and non-alcoholic beverages at an increase of 5.1%, housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels increasing by 5.0%, and personal care, social protection, and miscellaneous goods and services, which increased by 4.1%.
A platform for the electronic listing and trading of Government of Jamaica GOJ bonds on the Jamaica Stock Exchange JSE has been officially launched. The platform, which is a joint initiative between the JSE and the Bank of Jamaica, was launched at the BOJ on Tuesday. It transforms the local debt market by offering increased transparency, real-time trading, and easier access to buying and selling securities. Trading is conducted on the JSE's NASDAQ matching engine platform and settled through the BOJ's Jam Clear depository and real-time gross settlement systems, creating a more efficient framework for trading government debt. According to the Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Favour Williams, the GOJ bond platform represents a new chapter in Jamaica's financial story, written in the language of confidence, transparency and ambition.
We've taken a transformative step towards a deep and well-functioning domestic bond market. We are expecting that this development and trading of government bonds will reduce interest rates for the government over time, and we know that interest rates, a 1% reduction in interest rate means several billions of dollars for the government in terms of reduced interest expense on the debt that we have. And so I'm really looking forward to the ramping up of the market and for the transparency that will be provided.
Minister Williams reveals that 16 Government of Jamaica securities carrying a combined face value of $623 billion have now listed on the platform. Group Chief Executive Officer of the JSE, Livingston Morrison, adds that 7 government bonds valuing approximately $900 million have already traded on the platform since it went live on March 25 of this year. BOJ Governor Richard Biles says the launch of the platform responds to long-standing calls from investors and market stakeholders for Jamaica to modernize its bond trading system, and is proof that the local investment environment is continuing to show dynamism despite global economic uncertainties.
The launch of the platform has important implications for stakeholders beyond bond markets. It will facilitate monetary policy assessments and allow actuaries and auditors working in the insurance and pension sectors to derive yield curves and discount rates that comply with the new IFRS 17 standards in place since 2023.
All parish courts are now positioned to utilize the electronic signing of warrants through the Ticket Information Management System, TIMS. The move marks a major shift from manual to digital processing. Senior Judge of the Corporate Area Traffic Court, Mitzi Beaumont Daly, gave an update at a recent post-cabinet press briefing.
The expected outcome of this integration in TIMS is the ability of the warrants to not only be signed electronically, but also transmitted instantly to the relevant authorities for execution.
The Court Administration Division, CAD, recently piloted bulk signing at the Kingston and St. Andrew Traffic Court.
Judicial officers are now able to review and sign warrants electronically, significantly reducing the time between the issuance and execution. What once required hours, days, or even weeks can now be accomplished with remarkable speed and precision.
Her Honor Beaumont Daly adds that the pending introduction of the integrated electronic case management system will further improve efficiency by enabling seamless case management from start to finish. A transformative infrastructure project at 85 and 85.5 Red Hills Road, aimed at formalizing and upgrading one of St. Andrew North Central's long-standing informal settlements, is nearing completion. Minister with responsibility for land titling and settlements Robert Montague, alongside Member of Parliament for St. Andrew North Central Delano Seavright, toured the site on Monday and met with the residents.
It's a project that has been long in gestation, but based on where we are now, by the end of April, we should see a completion.
The $62.8 million project is managed by the Projects and Technical Services branch of the Ministry of Economic Growth and Infrastructure Development and is being executed by Brighton Engineers Limited. It involves the demolition of encroaching structures and removal of zinc fences, construction of perimeter boundary walls, and asphalting roadways and footpathways. A stormwater drainage system is also being installed, as are fire hydrants. Upon completion, the ministry will formally hand over the upgraded community to the residents, whose land tenure will also be regularized. Minister Montague says the residents expressed appreciation for the ongoing works, adding that they have committed to maintaining their surroundings while the ministry works to resolve the final safety and utility concerns.
The work is on track. The citizens have pointed out a few issues that we are going to resolve.
And finally, Caribbean Premier League Limited CPL Cricket returns to Jamaica in August 2026 with a new franchise, the Jamaica Kingsmen, set to compete through August 2027. Franchise owner Fawad Sawar announced the team at a press conference at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel, where the agreement was signed on Tuesday by CPL, the Ministry of Sport, and Kingsmen JDK LLC. Sport Minister Olivia Grange has welcomed the new team, expressing confidence that Jamaicans will embrace the Kingsmen and that the franchise will help bring more titles to the country.
The Kingsmen organization and the government are working well together to lay the foundation for the success of the team, the benefit of cricket, and the full support of the fans. Ladies and gentlemen, I truly believe that this long-term partnership with the Kingsmen will advance our goal of making Jamaica a regional and global hub for T20 cricket.
Minister of Tourism Edmund Bartlett also hailed the move as a boost for sports tourism.
So I'm excited about the prospects of the next few years as together we partner to strengthen not only a great game, to strengthen an economy that flows from it, and more importantly, to bring people together in joy and happiness.
Jamaica returns to the CPL after 2 seasons without a team. The Jamaica Tallawahs, 3-time champions, were the last local franchise. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Twyla Whelan. Thanks for watching.
Are you living on or in possession of family land? Do you want to sell or subdivide the property? Use eLand Jamaica to search for details on the property. You can complete a title search and verify the owner before you sell the property. If your name does not appear on the title, register the land or clarify the existing title in your name before you sell. A title is a notice to the world of your ownership of land. For more information, contact the National Land Agency at 876-750-5263 or 876-946-5263. The National Land Agency, one agency, one goal to serve you better.
Hurricane Melissa's impact has put into focus the government's push toward resilient building practices. Keep on watching for the state's transformation plans for 4 major towns as the country seeks to build back stronger.
Four towns, 4 plans, 1 vision.
What unites them all is a single coherent national vision. A Jamaica rebuilt stronger, planned smarter, connected more efficiently, and distributed more equitably. Where every region of this island is a functioning engine of growth, and where the resurgence we are claiming is visible, tangible, and felt in the daily lives of every Jamaican. Black River is one of Jamaica's oldest and most storied towns. But Black River grew as many Caribbean coastal towns grew, parallel to the shoreline. Its hospital, its courthouse, its market, its homes, all concentrated along the coast, all exposed. For generations, that vulnerability was managed, tolerated, absorbed, but Hurricane Melissa ended that. Storm surges of 8 to 14 feet tore along the Crane Road corridor. The historic waterfront was devastated. Civic buildings destroyed, critical infrastructure severely compromised. We will not rebuild Black River as it was. We will rebuild it as it should be. And in so doing, create something this town has never possessed in its 300 years of history. A real planned, consolidated urban core.
The Urban Development Corporation, UDC, is advancing a climate-resilient redevelopment plan for Black River that features a new urban center inland.
This is where Black River's essential public functions will be consolidated into a planned, workable, flood-safe precinct for the first time. It will have a proper town square, a civic park. The buildings will be designed to withstand Category 5 wind loads. built on elevated platforms above projected sea level rise scenarios with utility corridors, drainage infrastructure, and emergency redundancy. The historic waterfront will be protected by a layer of coastal defense systems, submerged offshore breakwaters to dissipate wave energy before it reaches shore, a concrete seawall integrated with a continuous public boardwalk, and engineered revetments along the most vulnerable stretches of coastline. The waterfront will become what it always had the potential to be, a vibrant public amenity, an entertainment and tourism corridor, a place where boutique hotels and restaurants and cultural experiences make this stretch of Jamaica South Coast a genuine destination. The Black River Plan does not end at the town's boundary. It connects to housing developments, agricultural corridors, tourism infrastructure, and the regional road network across the South Coast. I know the people of Black River are anxious, particularly persons who own property in proximity to the coast that sustained damage. I would say to the people of Black River, we have identified suitable lands to support a structured program of relocation and reconstruction for housing and business. For businesses in the town of Black River, the UDC has been asked to begin dialogue with property owners regarding acquisition of property and relocation where necessary. Various agencies of the government will begin the consultations and sensitization with specific communities in Black River and along that corridor regarding relocation of their communities. The redevelopment of Black River will be proof of concept that Jamaica has learned lessons and that we are determined to apply them not just to the historic town of the South Coast, that is the Black River, but to every parish, every corridor, and every community of this island that faces the same challenge as we seek to build forward stronger. Montego Bay is our tourism capital, and it is time we undertook new investments to revitalize and secure its position as the leading destination in the Caribbean. The Montego Bay Freeport and its surrounding areas represent one of the most strategically valuable and scenically spectacular stretches of real estate in the entire Caribbean. Our plan is to gradually relocate the BPO and light industrial activities in the free zone to new purpose-built facilities along the Montego Bay Perimeter Road, catalyzing vibrant economic activity along the emerging corridor while providing modern, world-class, purpose-designed spaces. This will free up prime waterfront lands on the Freeport Peninsula for their highest and best use. We envision a landmark mixed-use development, commercial, retail, and premium residential seamlessly woven into the urban fabric of the city. And at the heart of this vision will be a performing arts theater. The vision does not stop at Freeport. What we are proposing is the transformation of the entire coastal corridor, from the Freeport sweeping eastward to Harmony Beach Park along the waterfront, and all the way to the iconic hip strip. The top road will be dualized to handle traffic efficiently, while the bottom road will be progressively pedestrianized, as well as the hip strip itself. The result will be a walkable waterfront of rare beauty and vitality. We're also examining ways to enhance the elegant corridor between Sangster International Airport and the Montego Bay Convention Center. That entire elegant corridor has to be redefined and re-engineered to deal with soundproofing by building natural sound barriers, grade separation and tunneling so that you can move across, and building a kind of local road that connects all the hotels to really make the tourism product more seamless and of greater value and greater attractiveness. Like Black River, Falmouth is a case study in the existential vulnerability of low-lying coastal communities to the intensifying impacts of climate change. We cannot simply rebuild what was there. We must fundamentally reorganize Falmouth. The drag line, which is the critical drainage canal running east to west through the town, provides a natural organizing boundary. Major infrastructure works will be undertaken to clean it and progressively modernize it into a functional water feature that both protects the town and enhances the remarkable Georgian character. But more than that, the drag line will serve as a boundary between two distinct and complementary zones of reimagined Falmouth. North of the drag line, closer to the sea, the focus will be on what the waterfront does best: tourism, heritage, recreation, and coastal protection. The magnificent Georgian historic core, the Albert George Market, the Falmouth Courthouse, the Tharp House Complex, the churches, and the Baptist Manse will all be preserved as far as possible. The cruise port and the waterfront will be enhanced and activated as world-class visitor experience. South of the drag line, we will build the resilient civic backbone that Falmouth has never had. We will be relocating the Falmouth Hospital. Inland, we have identified somewhere. We'll make that known as soon as we have finalized the land. And this will be away from the flood zone with direct access to the North Coast Highway, so that it remains fully operational precisely when it is needed most. A new urban center will be built to modern standards of climate resilience and will consolidate critical public services and give people of Trelawney the standard of public facilities they deserve. Further south, anchored by the Trelawney Multipurpose Stadium at Florence Hall, we will finally deliver on the promise this facility has always held. We will be developing the area into a world-class sports center for sports training, major events, and sports tourism, while building around it vibrant housing and a commercial nucleus that brings permanent economic life to this corridor. Port Antonio is unlike anywhere else in Jamaica. It is the birthplace of Caribbean tourism. It deserves a future worthy of that legacy. The Port Authority of Jamaica developed a master plan for Port Antonio built around a clear and compelling vision: a high-value, low-density tourism destination that preserves the unique history and character of this irreplaceable town while unlocking its enormous unrealized potential. We are now moving from planning to delivery, starting with the Port Antonio bypass.
The $81 million Port Antonio bypass, being built to protect against storm surges and coastal erosion, is an essential precondition for the master plan.
Beyond relieving congestion, the bypass will open new corridors for housing, commerce, and economic activity. The broader master plan will deliver 4 transformational elements: a new cruise terminal in the East Harbour, paired with high-end hotels and villas on the Folly Lands, which will establish Port Antonio as a premium cruise destination unlike any other in the region. The cricket grounds will be enhanced into a modern multipurpose sports and entertainment amphitheater. A new pedestrian promenade along the shoreline will connect the east and west harbors, transforming the waterfront into a continuous walkable space. And a new public park will give the people of Portland a world-class recreational amenity on their doorsteps. Complementing all of this is the Boundbrook Urban Center. The Boundbrook Urban Center is approximately 40% complete. Like the Morant Bay Urban Center, Boundbrook will be an integrated commercial hub combining public and private services seamlessly in one location.
4 towns facing transformation guided by 4 principles: strategic spatial planning and risk-informed development, building redundancy and distributed systems into critical infrastructure, integrated regional development and resilient economic clusters, and economic diversification and productive resilience.
Nutritious food, succulent dishes, superior workmanship, and excellent service. Jamaica is on the go. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Let's harness the indomitable spirit of our most valued resource, our people. Let's support our local businesses. After all, buying Jamaican means building Jamaica.
original.
Storytelling is a cornerstone of Jamaican culture, always full of entertainment and life lessons. Do you remember the story of the mischievous spider and Nancy? If so, you are in for a treat. If not, let us refresh your memory. Sit back and enjoy.
This story is about Brother Anansi and the birds at Cherry Island. One morning, Anansi was very angry. What caused him to be so angry? He liked to sleep in bed. And that morning there was such a noise in the yard that he could not sleep. When he awoke, all the birds were there. Big birds with long beaks, little birds with short beaks, green birds, yellow birds, birds with long legs, birds with short legs. "What is this?" said Anansi. "Why did you wake me? We come here so early because we have to go far away." "Where are you going?" "We are going to Bird Cherry Island. All the cherries are ripe now." "Can I come with you?" "Yes, you could come, but you cannot swim and you cannot fly. If each bird lend me a feather, I will fly." So each bird lent to Nancy a feather and they flew away to Bird Cherry Island. There they were, they ate cherries all day until it was evening. The birds were ready to go home. "Come, Brother Anansi, we are ready to go home." "What, me? And leave all these cherries here?" So the birds took back their feathers and flew away, leaving Anansi. Well, evening came and Anansi wanted to go home, and he could not swim and he could not fly. He walked down to the side of the sea and to see if he could find a boat. He didn't find a boat. He looked into water. He saw a big head with bright eyes and sharp teeth. He realized that it was Brother Alligator. "Brother Alligator," he said, "start befriending Alligator. I have some fine ripe cherries for you." "Bring them down to my wife. My wife is fond of bird cherries." So Alligator took the cherries down, and Mrs. Alligator was glad for it. It was late, so they said, "All right, Anansi, you can stay here for the night and then we'll send you home in the morning." In the morning, it was his duty to take the 10 eggs that Alligator had to him to be washed. But in the middle of the night, he had already ate off 9 of the eggs, leaving only 1. He said, "Brother Alligator, I'll take the eggs one by one because if I fall, they'll break in pieces." So Anansi took that 1 egg 10 times to Brother Alligator. The following morning, after the morning was rolling on, Alligator put him in a boat. 2 fishes rowed and Anansi sat back in the boat. 1 fish could not hear well, 1 could not speak well. When they were far out at sea, Alligator discovered what Anansi had done. So he called out, "Bring back Anansi, bring back Anansi." The fish that could not hear well said, "What does he say?" And the one that could not speak well said, "Good, good, good." And Anansi said, "He says you have to row fast. A storm is coming." So they rowed fast and brought Anansi to his own shore. Well, what this story teaches is that you should not be ungrateful. The birds took him there, and then in the evening he suffered. He could not reach home easily. And it was only by luck that he got a ride to go home. And then he was even lucky that Brother Alligator didn't eat him. So he just escaped.
That brings us to the end of today's edition of Jamaica Magazine. You can stay connected with us online at jis.gov.jm and on our social media platforms. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Jabertha Atkinson. Thank you so much for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.